How do you pick which stocks to focus on if you have thesis on 10 different stocks? I find it always buy the wrong one, and the other stocks I had a thesis on play out perfectly. Great question. So how I go about narrowing down my watch list, and this is also why the watch list that we publish every day in True Trading Group is important for people, because it really helps you focus, right? It really helps you focus in and laser in on a couple of trade ideas instead of 10. You can't focus on 10 stocks at once. If you try to focus on 10 stocks, you're going to miss your opportunity in all of them. Okay, you will. You'll miss your opportunity in all of them. You really have to narrow that down to like 3. Experienced traders, maybe 5. Inexperienced traders, like complete beginners, 1 or 2. More novice, I'd say like 3 is really where you should narrow your focus in. Now, how do you narrow your focus? You're going to want to look at the quality of the setup. Now, if you have 10 stocks you have a thesis on, there's no way you can tell me that all 10 of those stocks have a grade A perfect setup where there's not a single thing that you would change. The stocks that you're going to want to focus on most are going to be the stocks that, let's say, have a fundamental catalyst that coincides with a technical analysis setup. So if you have major levels on the daily chart and you're doing your analysis and everything that we go through and we teach you in True Trading Group, and you identify a grade A technical setup, but then there's also a fundamental catalyst. That was Snowflake today. Snowflake today was one of the top trade ideas on my watch list pre-market, because not only did we have a really good technical setup, we had a really good fundamental setup. The fundamental setup was an upgrade to overweight from JP Morgan, and also Treasury yields getting crushed today. Treasury yields coming down big as there's a flight to safety. As the possibility of recession increases, investors start pouring into safety, which is US bonds and treasuries. It's safe, it's guaranteed, yield and positive returns on their money. So they flock there during what's called a flight to safety. So the chances of a recession have gone up. So investors are starting to buy bonds, which makes the yield in bonds go down. As the yield in bonds go down, that's more attractive in growth stocks. So you have this perfect storm today in a stock like Snowflake, Shopify, right? Like Roblox. These are all the stocks that are very, very high growth names that got absolutely crushed this year, that had a beautiful setup, specifically Snowflake, with the fundamental catalyst, and it lined up with the technical analysis as well. That's why Snowflake was one of the top stocks on my list today. Okay, that's why. So that's how you can help narrow down your watch list and try to say, okay, well, if I got 10 stocks that I like from a technical analysis standpoint, how many of them have a fundamental catalyst to coincide with? Like maybe if it's maybe one of your ideas is oil stock short. If that was one of your ideas, well, you take a look and you see oil prices coming down, even natural gas prices got crushed today. You see stuff like that, that adds to a fundamental catalyst. So that would put that trade idea up towards the top of your list, because you got fundamental and technical. It combines together to give you a grade A setup.